to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia, and I am your host. On today's show, I have the pleasure of sharing with you all a new review that I got the other day from Katie McMurray through my website. The title of the review is Great Podcast, and she gave 5 out of 5 stars. She says, I really enjoy Where I Long to Be. The trip reports are always thoughtful and informative. The episodes featuring Renee, who is Magical Travels by Monty, are especially engaging. She shares helpful insights from her own experiences and offers practical tips that Disney fans can appreciate. Her perspective adds a nice balance to the conversation. Looking forward to hearing more episodes like these. Thank you so much, Katie, for your fantastic review, and I hope that you will consider being a guest on the show at some point in the future. If you're interested in leaving a review, you can do that on my website, like Katie did, or through the podcast app you're listening on now. It's a great way to support the show since it helps make it easier for others to find me. Speaking of helping others to find me, have you shared the podcast with your friends yet? Or through social media, even? The show has continued to grow slowly and steadily, but I would love to boost that growth, and you can help me do that. The next time you see a post on social media asking for podcasts you love, especially if they're related to Disney or Universal, please tag the show to recommend it to others. You can also share or repost my content to help get the word out. I want to try to be more active in promoting the show this year, and so this is me putting out the call for your help. I'll even say I don't mind when you tag me in those Instagram giveaways where you have to tag 3 friends or rules like that to qualify. I will take it all. I really appreciate it. So thanks in advance for all your help. And as always, thank you for listening and being a part of my community. And with that, it is time to dig into this week's trip report. For anyone who didn't get a chance to listen to the pre-trip episode, Donna was traveling from Australia to Orlando with 3 of her kids, Scott, Izzy, and Sunny. Scott and Izzy are teenagers, and Sunny is 5. She also has 2 others who have left the nest and a husband who doesn't like to fly this far, so they were all staying back home while this adventure took place. Donna and the kids were visiting Universal Orlando, Walt Disney World, and then wrapping it all up with a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise on Disney Cruise Line. They were arriving stateside December 27th and departing back for Australia on January 17th. As you will notice, this is a little out of chronological order from the other recent trip reports that I've put out, but with my getting sick and coordinating around the time difference from across the world with Donna, it did take a little bit longer to finish, but I know you're going to love it. Please welcome Donna. Welcome back, Donna.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a long time coming because between the length of your trip, me getting sick and having to reschedule us, and technical difficulties, we've been rescheduled a couple of times now, and so we're finally sitting here face to face, ready to talk about this amazing, round the world adventure you had. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm having to look at my notes because it actually feels like it was so long ago that I have to remind myself what we did.
Yeah. So, well, just to put this out there, it's your trip was you left on December 27th, and you did not get back until I'm scrolling. The January 17th was the day you left, which because you live in Australia, that was probably not the day you landed.
Not at all. It was
So
2 days later.
yeah. So this is a big one. I'm
It
really,
is.
really excited. And because it's such a big one and it involves many parts to it, we may not go literally day by day, just because that would be probably a 4-hour episode. But we'll talk through it mostly, in a linear fashion, but there might be some parts where we kind of group it together, and talk about things overall, just to make our lives a little easier here. So just to kick it off, let's talk about your travel. So you were driving to Sydney the day before so that you could fly from Sydney to LA for a 5-hour layover and then LA to MCO. How was your flight?
It was good. So we had to fly to Sydney, not drive, because we're kind of at
Okay.
the top of Australia a little bit. So we had to
Mm-hmm.
fly the night before. and then stay. But we got in at like 4 or 5 o'clock. So we literally just had dinner and slept. And then we had an early flight.
Mhm.
The flight was really good. My notes say everything went to plan, nothing eventful happened. Yeah,
Mhm.
so it must have been pretty fine. I think the 5 hour layover was like on the longer side. We didn't necessarily need that much time, but I think I said
Mhm.
before this was my first time doing layovers, so I would rather have given
Mhm.
myself extra time than less time.
Right. Yeah, that's something that always worries me is having a layover that if it's going to cut it too close. I mean, you just never know these days. I don't think I would feel comfortable doing a layover that was less than an hour and a half for sure, but I'm going to say I need a layout over to be about 2 hours or more just so I feel like there's enough flexibility
Exactly.
there so that things
Yeah.
can go according to plan. Did you get any sleep on the flight?
Not really. No. Oh, because I have my
Okay.
5-year-old, and when he sleeps, you're supposed to sleep. But then
Mhm.
any like movement, like I just, yeah, like I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I just envision like going to sleep and then waking up and he's not there, and I'm like, oh, yeah. So,
Oh,
but that's okay.
okay. Even though I'm imagining with a child that young, he was either sequestered next to a window or probably between you and one of your teenagers so that there was, people on either side of him. But I understand the nervousness about a small child
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they can be they can be sneaky sometimes.
Yeah. So no sleep for me. And we were very
Mhm.
tired when we landed. And I do remember it was nighttime. It was like 7 p.m., which is great because we didn't have that
Mhm.
much longer to wait to go to sleep, which wasn't too bad at all.
Sure.
Um, and we got
Okay.
a private shuttle, and that was
Mhm.
great. Helped us with our bags, and I didn't have to worry about an Uber or a taxi or anything. So I'm glad we did that.
Mhm. And you also rented a stroller for this trip as well, I believe from Orlando Stroller Rental. So was that waiting for you at the Hard Rock when you arrived, or did you have to go pick it up from somewhere?
No, it was waiting there when I arrived, and shout out to them. That was like one of the smoothest things I've ever done in travel. It was
Mhm.
there with, I ordered some like waters as well. That was at the
Mhm.
lobby at the Hard Rock waiting for me. And when obviously Disney has different rules. So they were allowed to leave the stroller with reception at the Hard Rock, but they were not allowed to do that at a Disney hotel. I had to meet them and hand it
Okay.
back over. So when it was time at the end to give it to them, it was just on the WhatsApp. We texted each other, we met in the lobby and gave it to him. And it was just so smooth.
Okay. Good. Yeah, they changed those rules a couple years back, and prior to that, people could drop off strollers at Disney hotels, and it was so convenient, and now they have moved to only, I think, one company that will do it, and it's really not as convenient. I mean, it's not a horrible inconvenience, it is still okay if they drop it off and you arrange to meet them, but it's just like one of those things that once it's gone, you really miss it. So, I wish they would get that back, but there must be so many companies that they have to be, dealing with in allowing everyone
Exactly.
to do that. So I suppose I sort of get it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Hard Rock because I've stayed there once before and loved it. And I have a stay at the Hard Rock coming up this summer because we're heading over to Universal. Before we head back to Disney. So, what did you think about the Hard Rock? Did you get a chance to use any of the amenities there, like the pool or anything like that?
We did actually. We weren't sure whether we were going to because obviously it's Florida weather. So, yes, it's like winter, but some
Mhm.
days were hot enough to swim. So, we weren't sure, but we did. I loved the Hard Rock. My notes say that it smells divine, and it does. The
Mhm.
smell that they have there. And I'm so sad because we didn't lose too many things this trip. But one thing we did lose was our bag of souvenirs from that time, and it had the scent that I brought.
Oh,
And I was absolutely devastated. It smells divine. Everything was clean. Everyone was wonderful. The service was great.
Oh.
Um, we woke up the next day at 4 a.m. with like we've never experienced really bad jet lag before. We've gone to LA but we've kind of like
Mhm.
stayed at LA or Hawaii for a period of time before moving on. So I don't know what
Mhm.
happened going straight to Orlando, but the jet lag definitely, we know what that is now. We were up at like 3 or 4. Yeah, and we
Uh-huh.
got room service for breakfast. Definitely probably on the pricier side for the food that you got, but I mean,
Mhm.
it's the Hard Rock and it's room service, so it was no surprise to me.
Could we clarify, was the room service that you got at 3 AM or whenever you woke up, or did you have to wait until they started serving it? Is it like a order
No,
anytime you want situation
yeah,
there?
we ordered from the 24-hour. I think it had
Got
like,
it.
you know, this time to this time, and then it had a 24-hour one, which obviously is limited of what you can
Mhm.
order. But yeah, no,
Sure.
it was good. The kids ate before we had to leave, and I loved the
Mhm.
Starbucks in the lobby, so I could get the coffee on the way out to the parks.
Now, this first day, I have written down, mom gets to decide what they do first. And so
Yeah.
what did you decide?
Yes, I did. And it kind of did go to plan, but we pivoted a little, and that's okay. So, my notes say we were up very early, obviously, but we liked that because we actually got to walk through City Walk and it was like empty and you can soak it all up.
Perfect.
And yeah, I actually really enjoyed because during the day, it's not like that. At night, it's not like that.
Right.
So you can enjoy it
Mhm.
and look at everything. We actually got a lot done in one day. We actually ended up going to both Universal and Universal Islands of Adventure. We went to both. I wasn't sure if
Mhm.
we were going to, depending on how tired we were, but we did. So we started with Hagrid's first, and
Mhm.
I see a lot of conflicting information. So we did have uh, the Express VIP, not VIP, wrong wording, Express Pass. Sorry. Um,
Mhm,
so
which comes with your Hard Rock stay, so
correct. So online, some people say you can't use it in the early entry, and some people say that you can. So I wasn't sure what
mhm.
was going to happen, but we lined up for Hagrid's, and everybody's in the same line until you get to the like obviously the entrance of the ride, and then they actually
Mhm.
let us split off. So they said, "Do you want to use your express or do you want to go in there?" And they let us use it. So
Nice.
yeah, that day they let us.
Well, this
So
is good to know. This is really good to know because I think I had not realized yet that Hagrid's was now included in the Express Pass because it's been a couple of years since we've been over to
mhm.
Universal, and the last time I was there, Hagrid's was one that was still not included. So regardless, you had to wait in
Yeah.
the standby line. So this is really exciting news for me. I'm very, very happy that we'll be able to use that.
Well, I told my kids that it was a no and that we would have to wait, and that's why we were doing that first.
Mhm.
So it was a pleasant surprise once we got there. Um,
Mhm.
and so we did that. Here's the funny part. You'll hear the rest of the journey. Our 5-year-old is an absolute adrenaline junkie. He did
Okay.
amazing. Yeah. But for some reason, didn't like Hagrid's. Didn't like it at all.
Interesting.
Hmm,
Okay. What
I
was
don't
it
know.
he didn't like?
Great question.
Hmm.
He still gives conflicting answers to this question.
Did he write it more than once?
No. So we only got to do it once. And that's what I'm a little bit heartbroken about. But, when you travel as a
Okay.
family, you win some, you lose some. And I told myself, as long as I got to
Sure.
do everything once, I'd be happy and I
Mhm.
wouldn't have a temper tantrum. So I was fine. But
Yeah, the only reason I was asking about writing more than once, because there's so much to do, and, there's some things you obviously will want to ride more than once, but as long as you can get everything in at least once, you're good. But because of the ride vehicle shape and how there's, like, the motorcycle and the sidecar, I was wondering, like, if he had gotten to ride it a second time and ride the opposite of whatever we rode the first time. I don't I wonder if that would have made a difference in how I felt about the ride, but
I
maybe,
did.
maybe not.
So he did the side cart because that was our very first ride, and I wanted to make sure he was safe and okay. And I did try and
Mm-hmm.
tempt later on with that. Even the next day, I was like, "Oh, you can ride on the motorcycle part because you're tall enough." And he was a no.
Mm-hmm.
In
Hmm.
hindsight, for some reason, he doesn't like. He loves the thrill. He's not into animatronics, and he's not into like the visual effects. I think they scare him a little
Okay.
bit. Where, spoiler alert, he went on Velocicoaster. So,
Oh my
yep.
word. Okay.
So,
Wow. That's
I,
amazing.
yeah, there's no rhyme or reason with him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we only did that once, but that's okay. Yeah, my notes say we took the train over between the parks and really enjoyed
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that.
I think you were going to focus on Harry Potter
Yeah,
things this
so
first day.
we did do that. We did all the Harry Potter stuff. And I really
Mm-hmm.
liked Gringotts. I feel like Gringotts is not hyped. Obviously Hagrid's is like top tier, but coming from Australia,
Mm-hmm.
Gringotts was awesome.
I love Green Gods. I would say I prefer it to the one in the castle.
I would too. Absolutely. So anyway, and then my next note was that after all the Harry Potter stuff, I said to the kids, okay, you can choose whatever of course, they were like, we want the Velocicoaster. So Sunny did do the Velocicoaster. Sunny did the Velocicoaster once and once only because Mama's heart couldn't take any more of it. I am I so the two teenagers were in front of me. I was next to Sunny.
Mhm.
And I do not recommend this. Do not listen to this and copy this because I'm sure it's extremely dangerous. But I had my hand on Sunny the whole time because I was
Mhm.
absolutely, I don't know what I was going to do. Like, save him by holding onto his
Like
shirt.
your one little hand was gonna save him if he started to
Yeah, I
fall out of
had
his
hold of
seat.
his shirt like it was going to do
Uh-huh.
something, which it wasn't going to do. And so I was looking at the front of me and I could see my son, Scott, passed out and he kind of just like flopped to the side. And I saw his arms come out and
No.
I was like, oh my God, he's passed out. And then I looked to Sonny and his eyes are going in the back of his head and he's like kind of coming in and out of it. Like he was like rolling back with his eyes and then he'd laugh and then he'd go again and then he'd laugh. And I'm like, oh my God, this kid is like, yeah, I didn't enjoy any of it, and I love rides. The kids were like, "Did you see that? Did you see this?" I said, "No," because all I was looking at were my two children. Just yeah, but then we got
Wow.
off, and Sonny looked at me, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he goes, "That was amazing."
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
No, I don't
So
understand
maybe
him.
you'll get to try it again next time, and maybe you should just not ride with the kids
Yeah, I'm
so
not
that you
going.
can
And
actually just enjoy it.
well, they offered that. They said, "Oh, can we take him again?" And I trust them, but I won't. Yeah. So I lied to Sunny. They snuck off and they did it a couple more
Mhm.
times, and I told Sunny they were going to the toilet
Okay. All right.
because I
Well,
couldn't do
hopefully
it.
he won't hear this podcast.
Oh, he knows now.
Oh, oh my gosh.
They dobbed on
Oh, he
me. So
does. Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then yeah, my notes. We went and had a break and we swam at the Hard Rock Hotel pool. And I've got a note
Mhm.
here. We all loved getting the boat to and from the Hard Rock. It was beautiful.
Yes. A short boat ride, which is nice if you don't feel like walking. It's also not a long walk. At Hard Rock, you
Mm.
cannot beat for location when it comes to
No.
Universal.
So we walked in the morning and then we took the boat back. And yeah,
Mhm.
10 out of 10 for location. And my notes were Scott, my 15-year-old, he got a bit queasy. I think jet lag had hit him. So he stayed at the
Mhm.
hotel. And so Isabella, myself, and Sunny went back at night. Sunny's pick
Mhm.
was The Fast and the Furious. He really wanted to do that. Izzy was watching it on the plane, and he kind of was in and out of watching it, and thought it like was very hyped for it. My goodness, it breaks
Mhm.
down a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, Like every
Okay.
single time we tried to ride it, it was breaking down. And
Mhm.
I think the second last time we just bunkered down because I was like, this is his one pick. We're just going to sit down, and we waited it out. But we got all the way to the front where the buses load, and then they were like, no, we're shutting it down for the night.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, that was a bit hard, but we did do it before we left. So he did get to ride it once, but I
Okay.
just, yeah, I was really surprised that
Yeah, it's
it was just
frustrating.
always down. Um,
Did he enjoy it once he actually got to do it? Because I will say that the majority of people I talk to, and I'm gonna include myself in this group, don't love that ride. I'm not a fan of the movie either, so
yeah. So I think Sunny. So my daughter loves cars and she loves the
Mhm.
franchise. And so I think that he sat next to her on the plane and it was kind of like he, yeah, thought it was cool. Yeah.
'Cause she
So it was
liked
that
it,
kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah. And
Mhm.
so he did not request that we rewrite it. So I don't know.
Okay.
He said he had fun and he
Mhm.
liked it, but
Okay.
he didn't ask for it again. So it was like a one and done, which is
Mhm.
we were all fine with. And then
Mhm.
I've got a note that when we were leaving, they were playing the drone show in the air.
Mhm.
I was like, we don't have anything like that in Australia. Well, not that
Mhm.
I've seen. I'm sure there is
Right.
something, but yeah, just, yeah, we looked up and I was like, oh my goodness, it's Shrek in Jones. And Sunny thought it was very cool.
Yeah. It's amazing what they can do.
I know. It just baffles my mind. It's amazing. The next day, we kind of just did anything that we didn't get the first day done. And my notes
Mhm.
are we loved the water rides. We actually did Dudley Do Right 4 times in a row.
Oh my word.
Yes. So we were absolutely, yeah. So the kids
I
went
mean,
to,
it's like once you're soaked, you might as well do it again, like, while you're already wet. Um,
that's exactly how
yeah.
I felt. So the kids did it, I think, once, and then they went to Velocicoaster, aka the bathroom, and Sunny and I did
Mhm.
it 3 more times. So I
Okay.
love that ride. I really do. It was, yeah, it was great. What else have I got? And Sunny was absolutely terrified of the T Rex. So I think animatronics are a no for
Mm.
him. Yeah.
Okay.
That night we moved to the Grand Helios. Um, that was a little bit tricky. So they would not
Mm.
help us with our luggage like Disney does.
Ew, okay, that was gonna be my question.
Mhm.
That's not cool. Alright.
So that was a little bit of a mission. So what we ended up doing was we caught the bus from City Walk to Helios. I checked in, got the kids to
Mhm.
have a shower and settle in, and I Ubered back to the Hard Rock to
Mhm.
collect our bags and Ubered back. So uh,
Got it.
if they could change that, that'd be amazing because it was not much fun after a day
Mhm.
at the parks. But you
Right.
know, I'm checking into the Grand Helios, so I don't know if I'm allowed to complain too much. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Now that you've experienced the Hard Rock and Grand Helios, what did you was there anything you specifically liked better about the Grand Helios? What were your comparisons?
So Grand Helios is gorgeous. It's all new, it's all clean, it's all fresh. It's big, but it's
Mhm.
not too big. Nothing was too far. Even the rooms on the side, doesn't take that long to get to the reception. You can't beat the park entrance. You just can't. There's no
Mhm.
other. That's probably why people stay there, and it is a huge perk, and it's a perk that I thoroughly enjoyed. Um, I'm trying to think. Well, we stayed over New Year's Eve, so I paid an exorbitant amount of money. Would I do that
Mhm.
again? No, I would never pay that much money for that hotel again. Would I stay there
Mhm.
again when it was normal rates? Yes, I would. So
Okay. Alright.
definitely would stay again, definitely worth the perks. Would I stay again over a holiday period? No, I just, that it was a lot of money.
Speaking of a lot of money, just before we get into your part time for Epic, you had opted for the Express Pass that's exclusive to Epic, I believe.
I
So
did.
it's not included in any kind of hotel stay, whether it's Hard Rock or even the Grand Helios.
No.
Do you feel that it was worth it?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, we went at like the worst possible time where the park tickets didn't include Epic. I think in
Mhm.
January you can, but because we were
Right.
going in December and January, I had to buy separate tickets and I had to buy separate
Mhm.
express passes. So if I think if you're going for one day, I would, yeah, it's worth
Mhm.
it because you could pretty much get everything done in one day if you use that and you timed everything right. If you're going to spend 2 or 3
Mhm.
days at Epic, I don't think you need it, but that could change.
Yeah. I was speaking to somebody else the other day and we brought up Universal and the question came up is will they I'm sure they will at some point eventually include the Epic Express Pass in with all the other Express Passes for their premier resorts. The question is when is that going to happen? Because until then, I don't know how much you paid, but when I've been looking at it, it seems like it's $150 to $200 per person or something along those lines. Because I remember kind of pricing it out, and for the 3 of us, it was gonna be about $600. Um, and I think that if you're doing it for 1 day, which I think we will be doing it 1 day over the summer, it would probably be worth it just to know that you're gonna get everything in, but I don't know. It's a lot to tack on and there's on the one hand, especially for you, you're coming all the way from the other side of the world. It's kind of like, "Oh, we're already spending all this money anyway. We might as well tack on another little bit just to make our day easier." And on the other hand, it's just like, "Wow, this really adds up. Okay."
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to know whether you felt like it was worth it. And I think that the fact that you were there on New Year's time when presumably it was very busy and prices are jacked up anyway. Yeah, I think that's probably a good time to use it just because I imagine that the lines were pretty long without it.
Yeah, so that was what was really interesting. So we spent 2 days at Epic. So I think it was like the 30th and the 31st. The 30th,
Mhm,
definitely
that's what I had.
glad. Yeah, definitely glad that we had the express pass. It was as expected that day. New Year's
Mhm.
Eve, especially in the evening, was empty. It was not what I
Really?
yeah, it was not what I thought it was gonna be at all, and it was extremely
Hmm.
cold that night. Like, we are not used to that weather. It was, like, cold,
Mhm.
and I don't know whether that kept people away or I don't know what it was. Things were walk-ons. I think the kids rode
Hmm.
Stardust without even using their express pass, like, 6 times in a row. Like,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, there were no crowds. It was crazy.
Hmm.
I don't
Was
think it
Universal
was like
offering any kind of New Year's Eve celebration at one of the other parks or something that was competing for that traffic?
well, I'm assuming, obviously, um, City Walk would have had a party, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure have their own New Year's Eve party, and then, of course, Disney has all of theirs. So there
Right.
would have been yeah, there would have been a lot on that night, but I just assumed it's being the
Mhm.
first New Year's celebration at Epic, it's a new park. I was thinking everybody's
Yeah.
gonna wanna go there. It was the complete opposite.
Right. I mean,
Next year
makes sense.
yeah,
Hmm.
next year it might be how I thought, but I we were all shocked. We were like, "It's
Hmm.
crazy," which we're not gonna complain about. We
Okay.
ended up yeah, we did not stay outside for the fireworks. We watched them from the hotel because we were freezing.
Mm. Okay.
But yeah.
Let's dig into Epic a little bit. So I know that on the first day you were spending at Epic, you were looking forward to exploring Dark Universe in particular, and your kids were excited for How to Train Your Dragon, and you had some makeovers scheduled. So tell me about this first day and kind of what were your favorite things about Epic?
So the first day we started with Stardust races at 8 a.m. If that doesn't wake you
Mm-hmm.
up, I don't know what will. Um, it was very similar to Velocicoaster. I let Sonny ride it and I let
Okay.
him do it once. And I'm not doing that again with him.
Okay.
It was too scary for
Okay.
me. So I was like, no. He loved it. The kids loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to Donkey Kong. Unfortunately, it's I did a bit of research on what to do and how to move because I didn't want to zigzag. I wanted to like complete one area
Mm-hmm.
and then move on. So the plan was to do Stardust and go do like Mario and Donkey Kong first. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, with Donkey Kong Madness, it goes down sometimes. And then you have to make that decision. Do I waste my time waiting
Mm-hmm.
for the crowd? And so I think we went down, we did some of the games in the early park admission, and then we made the decision to leave Donkey Kong for another time, and we headed over to
Mm-hmm.
Isle of Berk. My notes are that Toothless was absolutely amazing. We were very lucky. We headed straight there. I think it was just letting the crowds in. So the wait for Toothless wasn't too long at all. I
Mm-hmm.
You just become a big kid. I don't want to know how it works and I don't need to know how it works. I just enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
magic. And I think I cried. It felt very real. It was,
Wow.
yeah, it's so, yeah, it's one of the, yeah, I just can't, yeah, it was just so, and I love How to Train Your Dragon, but it's not my special film. But you can just
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it for what it is. And that animatronic is so lifelike. It's incredible. The kids loved it. The
Mm-hmm.
teenagers loved it. My son broke it. So they tell you yeah. So they say you can't touch Toothless here, and this is what, and I've got the video of it, and Sonny
Okay.
was doing an amazing job. He listened, he had his hands to himself, he did all the right things, everything was great. And then obviously you stand either side of it for your picture, and he must have just slipped his mind. And as they're taking the picture, he went to put his hand up to touch Toothless' head, but he actually got Toothless'
Uh-huh.
mouth. And then that just the whole animatronic went and stopped. And I was like, oh no, my
Uh,
kid was the kid that did the thing that you're not supposed to do. And I felt really bad. And then Sunny felt really bad.
uh-huh.
But then they fixed it, like, and it was fine. It must happen a lot.
Well, I'm thinking it's probably a safety mechanism so that nobody gets their hand
Yeah.
chomped or something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing that happens multiple times a day, and
Yeah.
yeah,
The way they
I wouldn't
reacted,
worry too much about it.
yeah,
Mhm.
they knew exactly what to do, and they were like, "It's all good," and they put the little
Mhm.
green wall up and fixed it. And as we were leaving,
Mhm.
because we obviously did the rides in that area, I like saw that they had it back up and running pretty quickly. So I felt a bit better
Okay.
with that. Um, we had the monster makeover. It was the like if you're gonna go there, just do it. Just live
Mm.
your fantasy, be a monster. Um, we even the teenagers did it and they weren't going to, but then they did, and then it was fun. And every single place we went to, anyone that locked eyes with us were like, oh my god, I love that, where was that from, you look amazing, like just. And
Mhm.
Sonny got the whole thing, so he was a werewolf and he got the whole suit.
Mhm.
And I brought him the slippers and the gloves, and he was the cutest little werewolf you've ever seen. And
Oh.
I know they ring a bell and they announce you the to Dartmoor that these monsters have
Mhm.
arrived in town, and everyone looks at you, and it's so cool. And we had We didn't have very few. We had very few special moments. You know what do they call it? Like
Mhm.
pixie dusting or something?
Like
Disney.
pixie dust at Disney,
Yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah. So one of them was our plan was to have our makeover and then try and meet some of the monsters and do that area. And we went to line up
Mhm.
for oh my gosh, I'm having a mind break. Frankenstein and Frankenstein's wife and the
Uh-huh.
Bride of Frankenstein, sorry, they had just shut the line and they were like, sorry, you can come
Uh-huh.
back at this time. And I was like, yeah, okay, no worries. And obviously Sonny just wanted to look at them and he was standing there like looking at them
Mhm.
and wanting them. And I wouldn't say
Mhm.
she was rude, but the lady who was in charge of the line, the way she spoke to me and Sunny was like,
Okay.
"Oh, sorry," like, and she just wanted to go on her break. Like, she was being a bit rude.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was
Right.
like, "Okay, whatever." And we just watched them do their thing with the people that got in before us. And then,
Mhm.
like, she made a comment like, "Well, if you came on the time that they started, you might have gotten in." And I was like, "Okay, thank you, whatever." But
Mhm.
Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein saw Sonny and saw that he had his makeup and he was dressed, and they opened the rope and let him in. And then they spent time with
Oh,
him.
wow.
Yeah, they took photos with him, and they were pretty much telling her, "No, no, no, you let them in." So that was really special.
I feel like I I don't know why I'm thinking about, like, the scene in Pretty Woman where she's like, "Do you remember me? Like,
Yes,
you
I
wouldn't
did
let me
that.
shop here?
Yeah,
Big
so I
mistake."
yeah, I did that. I did that. I actually did a little like I gave her that feeling as we part because she had to open the gate,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Mm-hmm,
Mhm.
mm-hmm. Remember us, the ones that you were like, no." So yeah, Sunny loved that. That was really special and really nice. We had dinner at the Blue Dragon. I put a note here. The service at the Blue Dragon was phenomenal. Our server, and I could see all the
Okay.
other servers, wonderful. 10 out of 10. Their service was great. The pot stickers were delicious.
Mhm.
Um, we ended up doing Donkey Kong when it came back up, and that was just like living my childhood.
Mhm.
Sonny knows who Donkey Kong is and plays Mario Kart, but he doesn't. It's not like me, like my age demographic.
Right.
So I was like, we FaceTimed.
Mhm.
There was like twice a day where we could FaceTime my husband and get on the same like where we're both awake. And I FaceTimed him and I'm
Right.
like, oh my God, there was a banana and we jumped the track and it was the best thing I've ever done. He was like, cool.
Oh,
Um,
that's really cool.
yeah. Um, what else do I have my notes? So I think I've put notes for both days that were at Epic because it kind of blurred together. So
Mhm.
my
That's
other
fine.
notes, the we went and watched the shows. The the dragon show, amazing. Everyone loved it.
Mhm.
So cool. Spoiler alert, watching Toothless do his thing. That's so cool. Um, the
Mhm.
Harry the Harry Potter show. Have you seen it? Have you been yet?
No, this summer is gonna be my first time, and I will tell you, like, that the only quote unquote quote spoilers I'm getting is when I talk to people about it. I am purposefully not watching any YouTube videos or anything because I want to really experience it for the first time. But I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so I'm really excited about everything Harry Potter.
So I'm a Harry Potter fan. My children are not, and my
Mhm.
daughter and my son both got teary in the show. So I won't give you a spoiler, but
Oh, wow.
it's
Okay.
beautiful. And it's not Harry. Well, it
Okay.
is Harry Potter, but it's not. It's more Fantastic Beasts, obviously. But the
Okay.
storyline behind the show
Mhm.
and the whatever they are, the magic, the
Mhm.
puppeteers, and whatever they're called, that magic, it was stunning.
Right.
Um, and we had lunch or dinner. I think we had lunch at the cafe. I'm gonna butcher the name. Cafe Del Nu or something, where you get the butterbeer crepes. Oh, delicious. That
Oh,
was
ooh, that sounds so good.
yeah, I would 100% agree with everybody else that you get one lot of butterbeer crepes to share. They're a bit too rich for like one person.
Okay.
But yeah,
I'm
they
sure.
were really
Yeah.
cool. We had New
Okay.
Year's Eve dinner. at the Atlantic.
Mhm.
And the server we had, he saw my tattoos and he asked if I liked Star Wars. And he was actually, I think he said he was Chewie for a few years. And he like gave us stories and oh, he was shout out to him. I can't remember your name, but you were amazing.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
and then yeah, the only other notes were freezing, 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 very low crowds, but it's
Mhm.
free.
Did you have appropriate clothing with you for the freezing weather?
No. So, oh, we did actually go to
Okay.
Target one of those days. We ran to Target because we had to get thermals
Mhm.
and some jumpers and gloves and stuff. Um, and
Mhm.
funny enough, in Florida, it's not like easy to find gloves and scarves. We had to like really
No.
find them.
I will tell you where I lucked out, um, and I'm still using it to this day, is Uniqlo, the clothing
Okay.
store Uniqlo. They have a whole line of, like, thermal underwear with, lots of different varieties. So, like, super thin, lightweight, they have, I think, like, 3 different levels, so you can get, like, a more premium level, but I think I got, like, the middle one, and it's just so thin and nice, but keeps you warm, like, thin enough that you can wear under a pair of jeans and still
Oh,
not feel like you're, like, puffed up like a snowman, and I've used them since I got back from the trip that I purchased them on, and, I will forever buy Uniqlo undergarments for keeping warm. So,
thank you.
if you're stuck
That's
in
good to
Florida and find that it's cold, go to Uniqlo, and they have one at Disney Springs, and I'm sure they have one at other places there too, but that's the one I got mine at.
thank you. That's good to know. I would know because I don't. Yeah, I would never have known that.
So overall, Epic Universe, what let's just talk rides. What were each of your favorite rides for Epic?
The teenagers were Stardust. They loved that,
Okay.
and but again, over at Universal, Velocicoaster was their favorite, so that's just them.
Mhm, makes
Um,
sense. Okay.
yeah, I think actually Sunny really liked the Minecart Madness. I think he said that that's his
Okay.
favorite. That and we Hiccup Swing Gliders, the roller coaster in Isle of Burke. They were Sunny's two favorites.
Okay.
We did that roller coaster quite a few times. And at night, it was just beautiful. And there's a like, I don't want to spoil things for you, but like, there's a part in that
That's
ride
okay.
where they like, you stop and you see the eggs hatching and you can smell the heat and like, they just, yeah, they know how to do
Oh,
rides over there.
yeah. Okay. Well, what was your favorite?
My favorite, I actually really liked the Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster. I thought that was cool.
Okay.
And probably Battle of Ministry. The Battle of Ministry took my breath away in the
Mhm.
just the scale of it. And in the
Mhm.
lines and the waiting and each room that you walk into, you're in the movie, and I can appreciate
Mhm.
that. However, when we actually got on the ride, some of the animatronics were having technical difficulties, so the faces looked a bit
Mhm.
weird, and then some of them weren't moving at all. So
Mhm.
yeah, if I had a seen that probably working in
Okay.
its full glory, that probably would have been my favorite. But the
Mhm.
scale and the magnitude of the pre-ride stuff, it's insane. So yeah,
Okay. All right. We have so much more to get to.
I
So
know.
let's dive in to the big transition between Universal and heading over to Disney.
Yep.
So I noted that you were on Thursday, January 1st, so New
Mhm.
Year's Day, switching over to the cabins at Fort Wilderness, and that you had a golf cart rental and you brought Australian flags and fairy lights and everything to decorate. And I think you were gonna spend some time at Animal Kingdom with a Tusker House reservation this day. So, let's just talk cabins at Fort Wilderness first. How did you like the cabins?
The cabins we absolutely loved. I would
Mhm.
if I ever go back there, I'd probably just stay there for a much longer chunk of time. That was definitely
Mhm.
us. The cabins were spacious. They were well appointed. There were like people there that were camping in the cabins, which isn't camping, but at the
Mhm.
cabins for like a month. So
Yeah.
very jealous of them. they like They, like, had lights and blow up decorations and, like, whole things, like, they really made it their home,
Mhm.
and we loved driving around looking at everyone's some of them still had their Christmas decorations up, so that was really
Mhm.
cool. We had a little bit of a hiccup going in, so obviously when you pull up, they check your reservation or they check that you're supposed to be there before they let you in. I had it on
Mhm.
my phone and my app, but it wasn't on their system. So at first they
Okay.
weren't going to let us in. I showed them everything and they ended up letting us in. And for some,
Mhm.
I don't know how, but from the time we got from that front bit to the actual check-in reception, it had fixed
Mhm.
itself. So I had like
Okay.
20 minutes of going, oh my God, where are we going to go if this doesn't work? But it worked. And then we
Right.
were all happy.
Good.
Um, so just, yeah, at the cabins, I absolutely loved it. We did not do hoop-de-doo,
Mhm.
unfortunately. I would have loved to, but I had to we were there a very short amount of time and we just
Mhm.
really loved going to all the playgrounds. We went fishing there. Like
Oh,
we just,
fun.
yeah, we did all of those things. That first night,
Mhm.
we did actually end up going to Animal Kingdom and we did make it to our Tusker House reservation. Um,
Mhm.
and we did do Pandora at night, which was
Fun.
absolutely stunning.
And one of the few times of the year where it actually gets dark enough for you to enjoy Pandora at
Exact.
night.
Yes. So, yeah, I kind of said to the kids, we were all tired and we were all over it. And I said, well,
Mhm.
not many people get the opportunity to go to Animal Kingdom at night and do this and see that. So, do
Mhm.
you want to go? Do you not want to go? And we ended up going. In hindsight, we were probably all a bit too tired and cranky to actually enjoy it. Like we literally had dinner,
Mhm.
went to Pandora. We did Flight of Passage and we
Mhm.
did Maui River Journey, and then we went home. Well, back to the cabin.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, yeah, but we couldn't love the cabins a little bit more. Controversial opinion, probably. I'm a little bit. I don't know if that hotel they're building right there. I wonder
Mhm.
if that's going to change the atmosphere at the campgrounds.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
wondering the same thing because you can
'cause
see it going up right there.
yeah, and you can see the scale of it, and you're kind of like,
Mhm.
that's probably going to change how this all feels. But
Mhm.
you know,
I mean, one thing about Fort Wilderness is that a lot of the cabins and then the campsites where people pull in their RVs and everything, it's a little bit farther back off of the water.
mm,
So hopefully, I think it's definitely going to change the feel right there at the water because you'll be able to see their teepee like structures there. But when you're back amongst the cabins and all the RVs and everything, I think it will probably feel very similar to what it feels now, just because of the distance. And there's a lot of people who just absolutely love Fort Wilderness, and it has such a culture and a group of, super fans that just continue to go back there and they bring their decorations for the holidays and they make friends and they see the same people every year and it's its own little world over there. So I'm hoping that that culture is big enough to remain in place in spite of the new resort coming.
I concur. I really hope that too because that was something that I said to the kids, I could stay here and not go home. We'll just tell dad and the dogs that
Yeah.
they're just going to come and we're going to move to Camp Wilderness. And Like, yeah, if I lived in America, I would be one of those people that come back every year. I really liked the culture there and the
Yeah,
feeling, and it was really lovely. But yeah,
nice.
I hopefully they don't lose that.
Yeah, I hope
Um,
not.
and the food, can I just touch on that for 1 second? The fact that you can like walk
Sure.
up into like as because obviously we only brought 3 kids with us, but as you know, I have 5. And I remember when they
Mhm,
were all with me, it's a lot to feed 5 kids. And at the Fort Wilderness, you can go up to that hot
mhm,
box and you can buy like a whole ribs and a big mashed potato and a big beans and
mhm.
just like take it. Hashtag to Disney, please do not change that. Don't change that. Don't take that
Yeah.
away because, like us mums of big families, that
Mhm.
is amazing. So please don't take that away, Disney. Um,
Okay, Disney, if you're listening.
yeah, if you whoever is in charge of that stuff, keep that. That was amazing. And it was so
Mhm,
affordable there. Out of everywhere we went, buying dinner or lunch at Fort
mhm.
Wilderness, it was like, yeah, it was amazing. It was a nice break in between, Universal and Disney Park prices. It was
Mhm.
like, it was
Right.
good for me. The next day, after we spent a couple of days at Fort Wilderness, we went to
Mhm.
Animal Kingdom and I wrote down we did everything except we did not get to do Nemo or Gorilla Falls. The weather was on and off pouring rain, so
Mhm.
we did what we could do. Sonny did not like the dinosaur ride at all. He gives it a
Well,
0 out
it's
of 10.
gone now, so he never has to ride it again.
I know, I said that to him, and
Oh.
he wasn't actually gonna go on it until the last minute, and
Mhm.
he did really well, like, so the rides that he wasn't sure about, I can't remember if we talked about it on the pre-trip. We recently lost his
Mhm.
grandmother, so my father-in-law, and
Yes. Mhm.
through this whole trip, we had an amazing time, but it was still very heavy and we were still kind of walking around enjoying our holiday, but we were all thinking about him. And we'd often see someone
Mhm.
who just looks like him or something that would remind us. And he'd
Yeah.
look at me and he'd go, Granddad tried everything once, so I'm going to try it once. And if I don't like it, you're not making me do it again. I was like, okay, deal.
Yeah.
So he tried everything once, my boy. He did, and he kept his word, but he
Mhm.
will not be doing that again.
Mm. Yeah, I know. During the initial interview that we did, I can't even remember because I haven't edited it yet. Whether we talked about it on mic or whether we just talked about it before we actually started recording the episode or not. But you and I both had losses around that
Yeah.
time, and one of the questions I was going to ask you, but I'll just ask you now
Mhm.
since we're talking about this, is you know, f- for me. Disney especially is my happy place, and one of the main reasons that that's even come to be part of my life is 10 more than 10 years ago now, I lost my mom, and it was a Disney trip within, I think, maybe 6 months of losing her, and it was the first time in that time that I felt, like, able to kind of not think about it for a bit and, just focus on happiness and fun, and it's really what turned the tide for me in terms of going from somebody who liked Disney and appreciated it and always, you know, loved it but didn't like love it, and that turned me into a Disney Parks person, and so I was going to check in with you before we finish talking today just to see, with your recent loss, it was very fresh, but how did doing a trip like this and going to these magical otherworldly places help you in what is really the beginning of your grief journey?
Yeah. So I and armed about going at all because obviously my husband
Mhm,
was never going to come and we did not want to leave
mhm,
him. And it was still very, very fresh, especially for the kids. But I spoke to my husband and I spoke to my mother-in-law, and they both said, like, granddad would be like, don't you dare not go. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we went, and even getting on the plane, it was really, really hard because it felt like we were pretending for a little bit. Like, I know that
Yeah.
sounds really weird, but like it felt like, oh, we're happy, we're on holiday. And inside we're still
Right.
like really sad. And then once we got there and we
Right.
started doing things, I thought, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to take the kids' minds off it, and they're going to just be kids and we can go back to
Mhm.
reality. However, it was the opposite. It was like we talked about him every single day. Every time we saw someone, if we
Yeah.
heard someone that had a slight New Zealand accent, we'd be like, oh, that sounded, oh, did you hear that? They're from New Zealand and that's like granddad. And we'll talk about granddad.
Mhm.
It actually like was kind of the opposite to what I thought. We spoke about him all the time. He was always with us. And then we would say, hey, do you remember
Mhm.
when we did this with granddad and we went on that ride? And, you know, so, I think sometimes when you're grieving and you're at home, it's the feelings are deep and they're sad and they're sorrow,
Mhm.
but we were grieving on holiday. So it was very, very different, but not in a bad
Mhm.
way. And like when we were waiting in line, we would play heads up and then we would just tell stories about granddad and grandma and talk about him all the time. And
Yeah.
so the funny thing is though, every single day, there wasn't one day on the trip this did not happen. We would just be standing there and it was silence. And at that particular time, we were not talking about granddad or anything to do with granddad. And out of nowhere, Sonny would pipe up and say, nobody talk to me because I'm thinking about granddad and I'm upset. So I don't want to be, don't talk to me for 5 minutes. And that was every
Mhm.
day. And I was like, that's just him. That's how he's dealing with it. It's all good. But he would like announce it to anybody that was within hearing distance to us, and we would be
Oh.
like, that's all right, buddy. You let us know when you're ready to
Yeah.
talk again. And
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
it's so hard at his age, like Alex was 5 when we lost my mom, and within a few months before that had lost Charles's aunt, who he was also very close with. So he lost 2 grandmother figures, like, very close back to back, and I just remember being like, how do you explain this to a 5-year-old, and how do you help them? Like, it's hard enough when you're an adult, but how do you help a small child like that deal with it? And he sounds, I don't know Sonny, but that sounds so healthy to me.
yeah, it's actually, yeah, he deals with, yeah, he surprises me. But yeah,
Mhm.
a little bit like Alex. So Sonny lost my
Yeah.
grandfather, who was like his granddad and granddad in 1 year.
Mhm.
So we lost them both.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't even, it's hard enough for me to watch my husband, but then to think about
Yeah.
these kids. But yep, Sonny just,
Mhm.
and when he needs to have a cry, he has a cry. And when he needs to talk about him, he tells me, I want to talk about him. And when he doesn't want to talk about it, he announces it so that you know
Mhm.
not to bring it up for five
Yeah.
minutes. But it was just a different experience grieving someone on holiday because it was very somber. And
Yeah.
sometimes I thought, I was worried that we might feel that guilt, like, oh, we should not be here doing this. We should be at
Right.
home.
Mhm.
But it was actually not like that. We kind of turned it
Mhm.
into, we would do things like, oh my God, granddad would love that, or that'd be too much for granddad.
Right.
Or, you know, like we
Yeah.
kind of lived for him. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I in the Jewish faith we say may their memory be a blessing to all who knew them.
Aw, I
And I think that when when you're having those moments and you're thinking about, oh, they would have loved this, or oh, this would have made them laugh, or those things, it's a blessing. And I just try to remember that it wouldn't I get choked up. It wouldn't hurt so much if you didn't love them so much. And what a blessing to have had somebody in your life that you loved that much that you get to feel those feelings, right? Even the pain.
It's
And so
exactly what I said to the
I
kids. Exactly.
I hope that, you will continue to bond as a family and go through this together. It's grief is a journey. I mean, like, we lost my mother-in-law in December, and it's been 10 years now since my mom, and I actually lost my father last March, as well. And so it's been about a year, and it will come up for you at times when you're least expecting it. There will be moments where it just hits you out of nowhere, and you're just like, "Whoa, I was not expecting to break down today."
Yeah.
But I think you just have to, much like Sunny, just acknowledge how you're feeling, and and let yourself have those big cries, and also allow yourself to have those big laughs and to enjoy life, because your loved ones would want you to enjoy your life. So, anyway,
That's 100%
we should
correct.
get we should get back on track, as cathartic as this has been. But I know that, there are people out there listening now who have experienced this kind of thing or are going through it now. And I think that it's going to resonate with people having um, this experience of hearing you and your journey and doing something like this so soon after something like that's happened. Because I really relate when you said, "Should we be doing this? Am I going to feel guilty?" And the truth is, like, if you're going through the very early stages of grief, you're going to feel guilty feeling any kind of happiness no matter where you are. You're going to be at home and be like, I shouldn't be enjoying this TV show I'm watching or whatever. You're going to have those moments of feeling that guilt. And so why not do it? Why not do it on a holiday where you can be with your family, and try as much as you can to let that go, because the people that you love want you to have a good time. They want you to go out and live your life to the fullest, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So
No. And I think that was kind of helpful to have that thought that, you know, we're here, we might as well make the
yeah,
most of it because we might not ever get to do this again. So
right, yeah,
every day is a blessing. And yeah,
hmm,
before we move on, just like quickly, I just want to reiterate to people one thing that I found is people think that when your loved one dies, oh, I'm so
hmm,
sorry, that's still fresh, you're grieving. Grieving doesn't, it's not a month or 6 months or 3 months or weeks. You will grieve
right,
for the rest. We were still grieving Pop when this happened. And like you
hmm,
yourself, you were still grieving all those losses before this one. So
hmm,
there's no time frame on this and there's no right and wrong.
no,
You can go
hmm,
and do things and still be grieving, and that doesn't mean anything. People, it just means
no,
that you're living for the person that you lost, and that's what they would want.
right. And when you're speaking with somebody who has had a loss, I mean, just use them as your guide. Don't be afraid to bring the person up. I mean, I think it's more awkward when you try to avoid talking about the person. I actually like when people bring up my mom, it brings me joy to talk about her,
Yep.
and I bring her up all the time. We bring up my mother-in-law all the time. Like, why did she do this? You're finding all kinds of things around the house now that we're like cleaning everything out, and it's just like, wow, this is funny. This I found a pack of gum. I was like, this gum has got to be 30 years old.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
why was she holding on to this? But it's just it helps to me keep them alive by bringing them up, by enjoying the memories that you have of them. Um, and so I think that you're right. There's no time frame on this, and you just don't know when it's going to hit you. So don't try to tiptoe around people, because like there's going to be moments that will be 15 years from now where maybe you should tiptoe a little bit because they're having a moment. They're gonna have a moment when they have a moment, and it could be at any time. So,
That's right. 100% agree.
all right,
Okay, back to
let's
regular
dive back
programming.
into Disney.
Yeah. In my
So I think
note,
we're on
7.
were you done talking about Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, I just my all my notes say that the park was beautiful. We all agreed that it's
Uh-huh.
just beautiful. Our highlights, our
Yeah.
favorite rides were the safari is phenomenal. That is the coolest
Oh,
thing
yeah.
ever. Like I knew it was
Mhm.
going to be cool. I didn't know it was going to be that cool. I really like that. Um,
Mhm.
Pandora, and my kids loved Planet Watch. We loved going on the train and patting the goats and going back.
Oh,
They
yeah.
really liked that. Um, and so that night we actually moved to the Grand Floridian. Disney does move your bags
Mhm.
for you, and they do a phenomenal job at that.
Yes, they do.
Yes, a lovely gentleman came and picked them up from the cabin, and they
Mhm.
always like I knew. Yes, it could be there in the afternoon, but more than likely it might be after 6 o'clock. So I knew
Mhm.
that. I packed what we needed for the day in case. We were going to go to be our guest for dinner while we waited.
Okay.
However, it was torrential raining, like
Mm.
horrid. So I cancelled that and I did have to pay the fee, but that's okay. That's fine. And we ended up just going straight to the Grand Floridian. And I think we
Mhm.
ate there. Really, really enjoyed the Grand Floridian. Again, smells amazing. Just the grounds
Mhm.
well looked after. The cafe there's yeah, it's just beautiful, beautiful. If we could go again, I'd probably definitely stay at the cabins again and Grand Floridian.
Okay. With Grand Floridian, you you weren't staying club level, right?
No, just
So
DVC.
you were in an outer building? Oh,
Yeah,
you were in a DVC building. Okay. All right. Do you remember what the name of your building was?
I should have wrote that. Something about a
Okay.
bear, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm sorry. It was near the
Okay. I
pool.
can't remember the one that has bear. Okay. Near the main pool.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called, but yes, I know which one you're talking about. With the weather,
Hmm.
you got to swim at Universal. Did it get warm enough at any point during your Disney stays that you were able to use any of the Disney pools?
No. Did the kids swim? Yes. So at the Grand Floridian, yeah, at the Grand Floridian, Sunny got a bit of a head cold. So as
Mhm.
much I had to be the bad mum and say, no, you're not going in the pool when it's freezing and you've got a head cold. So that's not going to happen.
Mhm.
But they did swim in the one at the cabins and Animal Kingdom.
Okay, so that brings us to January 4th, and I think you were heading to Magic Kingdom for the first time on this day.
Yes. We got the boat to Magic Kingdom in the morning.
Mhm.
So beautiful, so magical is what my notes say. So we loved
Mm.
taking the boat over there. We went straight on the mine train. That
Mhm.
must have been like in the early hours. We did is it Beacon Barrel?
Yes, you had a 10:50 reservation for Beacon Barrel that you were surprising the kids with, I noted.
Yes, they loved it. I loved it. They do very strong margaritas there. Very well worth your
Okay.
yeah, very well, very well worth your money. So we went to Beacon Barrel. We did Pirates is our favorite family ride. We just love Pirates. We all love
Mhm.
it. You can so it's a note that my margarita kicked in after we rode Tiana's. And so when you get off Tiana's, you
Mhm.
know how they can take a magical shot, like the pictures, the
Right.
photographer. You can see when my margarita kicks in. So the first like 2 shots are normal, and then they tell me to do something and yeah, I'm gone. And then yeah, we went back on Pirates and you can definitely tell on that photo too. So that's
That's
funny.
really funny.
It is so funny. Yeah, that was hilarious. And I think I had two margaritas and it was a yes day. So I was like skipping through Frontier Land and I was like, do you want a bubble one? Do you want a bubble one? So I was having the time. And then
Yeah,
we,
I will admit, Alex likes it when I have a drink because then he's
yeah,
like, then I know I'm gonna get to do whatever.
yep, whatever you want. We had lunch at Be Our Guest. We all actually loved it.
Mhm.
We all loved the food. We all loved the
Okay.
service. That was probably one of our favorite characters. Although we know the Beast doesn't actually come and see you personally. Like, I think if you got
Mhm.
to meet the Beast and Belle and get a photo, it'd be like a 10 out of 10 for us. So,
Uh-huh.
whatever we got, we enjoyed. Uh, so we all went on Tron. We all loved Tron.
Okay.
However, my notes
Uh-huh.
are I would never wait for it. So,
It's so short. Yeah.
yeah. I think we either so again because of Sunny's autism we were able to utilize the DAS pass. Um, However,
Mhm.
I also buy Fast Pass as well, and I had brought Stamp by Skipper, so I was like utilizing all the platforms, all the things to
Mhm.
try and make it as easy as possible for Sunny because we only get a few hours with him, and then he's just too overstimulated. So yeah.
Okay. Can we pause there? And I
Mhm.
want to ask about your experience with Standby Skipper because I used to use Standby Skipper um, prior to the change in FastPass to Lightning Lane
Yeah,
that they did in the past couple of years. So I haven't used it recently. How
yeah.
did you feel it worked with the new system?
Um, with the Fast Pass and the DAS, I didn't really need it. I don't think
Okay.
that I needed it. I didn't use it as much as I thought I
Hmm.
did. If I didn't have DAS, I probably would have used Fast Pass system and Standby Skipper. Um, I did use it a couple of
Hmm.
times and it got what I wanted. So
Okay.
yeah, if you're short on time, I think
Yeah. My suspicion was you don't really need it.
no, no. If I was only there for a couple of
Yeah.
days, yes, I would absolutely use it because you've got to maximize your time.
Hmm.
What else have I
Right.
got? Uh, Space Mountain. I've written very
Hmm.
irky jerky. My back did not like it. So it is, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
and
little
Scott
little
loved
bit
it.
of a chiropractic adjustment there.
I know. Sunny loved it. Scott loves it. He prefers the Disneyland one. He doesn't like the feeling of feeling like you're going to be
Mhm.
decapitated. That's not fun for me either. So
That
we only did, yeah.
I mean, who is it fun for?
Sunny loved
That's
it and
funny.
Izzy loved it, but that's
Yeah.
it. She has her
Okay.
hands up and I'm like, you're gonna don't do that. And she
Oh,
was just,
no.
no, I know.
Oh
She
my
doesn't care.
god. And
She has
and
no fear.
I know there's no way that they would ever have anything near you where if you raised your hands, they would get hit by something. Like that's impossible that they would get away with that kind of thing. I know that. I know that to be a fact. That being said, I will never ever raise my arms on it, and
Me
I have
neither.
ridden it with the lights on before, and that even still only confirmed my decision never to raise my arms on it because I was like, I know I can't touch that stuff, but it still feels like I can, so
Yeah,
no. No, thank you.
that's enough for me. I'm the same.
Mhm.
We had dinner at Narcoossee's. So
Mhm. How'd you like that?
Narcoossee's was gorgeous. The waiter was amazing. The food was amazing. The price is not
Mhm.
amazing, but I knew that
Okay.
going into it. However, they
Right.
were really cool. So because we had to change our BR guest from dinner to lunch that day, we were all still quite
Mhm.
full, and that sucks because I wanted to be hungry for Narcoossee's, but they were actually really
Right.
good, and they let us share two meals between us.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
That's
because I
nice.
know, yeah, some restaurants, especially in Australia, the fancier ones don't particularly like you doing that. but they were fine with
Mhm.
it. They were really good. That night we
Yeah.
caught the water pageant going past and
Mhm.
the fireworks. That was beautiful. I wrote a note here that when you hear the fireworks from inside your room at the Grand Floridian,
Mhm.
we didn't know what it was at first, that first night. We were like, what is this noise? What is happening? Why is it so loud? I don't know what it was, but then we like went outside and figured out it was just
Mhm.
fireworks. But I was like, oh, I didn't expect it to be that loud. But I do suppose you're right there. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then we went to Epcot the next day. We
Mhm.
loved the Moana area. That was really cool. The kids spent a long time playing with water, and it was just really nice. Surprise, surprise, it was hot that
Mhm.
day. It went from like rainy and freezing to hot. So,
You
we
never know what
all
you're gonna get in Orlando.
yes, that's 100% true. We all loved Figment. That ride, I hope they never. It's like ET at Orlando, at Universal. Sorry, I hope they never change it.
Uh-huh.
Don't ever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a real. I love it. I love that era. I just love it. We were all like, "This is
Mhm.
the coolest thing ever," and the people in the row in front of us were not so impressed, but we were having a
Uh-huh.
fantastic.
Good.
Yeah, so we caught the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios. My notes say
Mhm.
Guardians. Oh no, sorry. Back at Epcot, my notes were the Guardians ride is
Mhm.
this is I'm quoting my 15-year-old son. Top tier, bro. No notes. The best ride ever.
Wow. Okay. Even
So
over anything they rode at Universal?
yes, yeah. That's
Okay.
Scott's. That's what he says. The Guardians of the Galaxy ride. Not
Mhm.
at the one at Epcot. Just so we're clear. Um,
Right. Mhm.
yeah, because we have done the one at Disneyland, the the old Tower of
Yes.
Terror. Yeah, but no. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
for Rise of the Resistance is still my favorite, and then Guardians is the
Okay.
very very close second. But his is no.
Mhm.
Um, and my notes say we caught the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios. Our notes are to us from Australia. It is absolutely mind boggling that that is all Disney property.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Like, you're going from a hotel to a park, and then you can go from the park to another park, and that's
Uh-huh.
still like that. It
You're still
is,
on property. Yep.
yeah. To an Australian, there's nothing like we don't even have anything to compare to that. So Scott, I
Hmm.
don't know why, but that every taxi driver, every bus driver, every person at the Skyliner, he was still like, "Is this still Disney property?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, yes, it is." And I'm like, "Scott, the answer's going to be yes. We're still at Disney." Crazy. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, this is the day that Sunny's cold kind of came out. So we cut it short.
Mhm.
I'm one of those mums. I know we've flown around the world to be there. We've paid a lot of money, but if my son's sick, I'm not. I don't want him to get someone else sick. I don't want to be that mum
Uh-huh.
dragging. Yeah. So I was like, he's starting to get a bit crook. Let's call it a day. And we went back to the Grand
Mhm.
Floridian. I actually
Mhm.
got the nurse to come out just for peace of mind. That was phenomenal.
Okay.
You just ring and they say, we can either take you to the urgent care and we can have a car come and get you,
Mhm.
or if you would like to pay out of pocket, we can have the nurse come and be there. And she was there within 2 hours. She was
Okay.
amazing. Again, in Australia, we don't do that. There's like, you don't call,
Okay.
if you ring up the hotel reception, they're like, yeah, you can go to the doctor or the hospital. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Like, it's not like
Mhm.
that.
Wow.
So yeah, the nurse came out. She was really nice. She gave us, because we were on holidays, just in case, she gave us
Mhm.
antibiotics. Super
Mhm.
easy. Yeah, but we ended up just taking we missed a day at the parks just to let Sonny recuperate and rest, and it was thankfully just a
Mhm.
cold. It was better within two
Okay.
days. um
Good. And there's plenty of things to do around the resort for your teenagers, and it's not like they were going to be sitting there
No,
twiddling their thumbs, I'm sure.
no, no. And to be honest, when you're paying that much for your hotel anyway, it's nice to kind of get your money's worth. So we were fine.
Right.
When we ended up getting room service at the Grand Floridian, that fruit salad
Mhm.
with the sorbet, whatever that is, that's magical.
Uh-huh.
That is the most delicious thing I've
Okay.
ever
I have
had.
not had it.
Yeah, it's like a fruit salad and it has like a coconut sorbet thing on it. Oh, yep.
Mm,
Yeah, I think
that
I
sounds
like
delicious.
yeah, I think I ordered it like 4 times. Like I ordered it a
Oh,
lot.
wow.
Yeah, I loved that.
You need to try to recreate it at home.
I did, and I can't do it. I really
Oh.
yep. Yeah, I actually
Maybe there's a recipe online or something.
oh, that's a good idea. There might be because I did that with the is it the Monte Cristo at Disneyland? This
Yes. Yep.
yeah. So
Mhm.
that we came home and then COVID hit and we spent like 2 months of lockdown trying to recreate that sandwich.
Perfecting a Monte
Really
Cristo.
did. We really did. So maybe I'll do that. What else have I got? Um, we got we used a bus, a Skyliner to get to and from parks. I really
Mhm.
love Hollywood Studios. It might be my favorite park, maybe. We had lunch at Brown Derby, and the
Mhm.
Cobb salad is amazing. Um,
Yes, it is.
yeah, I have a note here. I must have had a margarita. These kids are too spoiled, and they need to take it down a notch. They just because they went to the Brown Derby, and they were ordering the filet mignons. I mean, however you say it, mignons. Yeah,
Filet mignon.
filet mignon.
Yep.
Because they must have been so used to. Oh, we've got like we're on oh my goodness, a character meal. You know, you can get whatever you want.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we sat down at the Brown Derby, and that's what they both ordered with a mocktail or a Shirley Temple, or yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I got the bill, and I was like, "Oh, these kids really need to just, bring it down."
Chillax. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? Alex is the same way. And I think partly it's because he's like knows that when I'm at Disney, I'm a little bit more like, yeah, sure, whatever. But also same when I have a margarita, and I always have a margarita at the Brown Derby because they have the margarita flight that I love.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
he'll
that.
just order whatever he oh, it's so good. It comes in like a little stand, and it's got 3 smaller margaritas, so it's not huge, but when you drink all 3 of them, it's a lot. One of them is a traditional margarita, one of them is a blood orange, and one of them oh gosh, what is the 3rd flavor? I think it's like a pomegranate. Um, and
I'm very upset
they're
right
so
now.
good. Yeah.
That I'm really sad. That makes me so sad. I will have to go back and try that
Oh.
one day.
You have to
Um,
go back, and the pomegranate one comes with, like, a sugar rim instead of a salt.
oh,
So it's like a
wow!
nice yeah, you get a little bit of each kinda thing. Yeah, it's good.
I'll have to go back then. I'll just tell the kids, Mum's just gonna go back so she can get this flight of
Mhm.
margaritas. Um, Sonny's favorite ride is Rock and Roller Coaster.
Okay.
He would have ridden that over and over and over again, but
Mhm.
loved it. We built droids, and one of my favorite memories from this trip is the 2 boys built their droids, and then you know how they have the little play mat out the front where you can play with
Yes.
your droids?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, Sonny actually made a friend, and that's very
Aw.
yeah, it's not hard for Sonny to make friends, but it doesn't happen very often. So he made a little friend and he played with the droids, and I stayed there for longer than I thought we were because I was just so ecstatic.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was one of my favorite memories. Um,
Aw.
yeah, Toy Story area melted our hearts. So like a long story, really short. Scotty, when he was younger, he got really sick, and we almost lost him a couple of times. So he was
Oh
two
my
and a half
goodness.
yeah, from 2.5 to about 5, he had a bit of a rough
Mhm.
trot. And Toy Story is some of that time he was in bed a lot. He didn't have a lot of energy, and
Mhm.
we would just watch Toy Story over and over and over and over, and it was our life. So for us to go there and
Mhm.
see that, it was just
And,
amazing.
like, walk into the movie,
Yeah,
basically? Yeah, I can
crazy.
imagine.
So unfortunately, it was very you can't fast pass character lines. So we were only able
Mhm.
to meet Buzz. We didn't get to meet Woody. But that's okay. You
Okay.
take what you can get, and they were fine with that. We
Mhm.
had dinner at Roundup Rodeo. The kid Sonny says to tell you he loved how you could ride the horse to your seat. That
Uh-huh.
was his favorite. And he said to
Cute.
say it's not his favorite food of the trip, but the lady was nice. And that's
Okay.
Sonny's take on that, which I would concur with. Um,
Mhm.
then all these days, I've just got notes together because I must have been fading really fast. So they're all just
Okay.
jumbled together now. We moved to the Animal Kingdom Lodge. We were there for
Mhm.
4 nights. So my notes and my personal take. So this is my thoughts,
Mhm.
not anyone else's. I loved it. I would definitely stay there once in my life. Next time I go, I probably wouldn't stay there again. Just
Okay.
for us, yeah, we found it was a bit too far away to the parks. We really prefer that close proximity where you can take a break really easily, which you can do at Animal Kingdom, but it's just not as convenient.
Right.
Um, and for whatever reason, we got the DVC, so we were in I don't know how to pronounce it. Uh,
Kidani Village?
that one, yeah. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, our room was right at the end, and it would literally be a mission just to get to the lobby.
Mhm.
It was a fair hike, and just traveling with a 5-year-old who has autism, and after big days at the park,
Mhm.
it it just wouldn't be our preference again. But it was amazing.
Um, if you were to estimate, like, how long it would take you without a child in tow to walk
Mm.
from your room to the lobby of Kidani, what would you estimate?
So I think I did it a couple of times. I had to pick up packages from the thing and get coffee,
Mhm.
and it was like a good 17 minutes. Like we were
Okay.
way down the end. And I know that doesn't sound like
Okay.
a lot, but when you're tired or you have kids and you just want to do laundry or you just want to go get a coffee, that's half an hour,
Right.
40 minutes to go get it and come back without even
Right.
waiting for the coffee. So, yeah, just for us,
Mhm.
no, it wasn't our thing. But yeah, we had
Mhm.
a safari room so we could see off the balcony. Like, oh, that
Uh-huh.
was amazing. Like, I'm so glad we did it. And I do think that if you haven't
Mhm.
stayed there before, you should definitely stay there. Like, there's pros
Mhm.
and cons.
That's where I'm gonna stay in July after we wrap up at the Hard Rock. We're going
Mhm.
over and doing a Savannah View, Kidani Village, 1 bedroom, and I'm really excited because 'cause I've never stayed there before. I am debating on whether we should have a rental car for this trip just because I've heard people say the same thing that you are about how far you are from things, and I'm wondering if it might be worth it to get a
Yeah,
car for the week. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. I think it depends. It's up to you. There are buses and they run frequently. Just
Mhm.
with Sunny, we aren't particularly fond of the bus transportation. We didn't mind the
Okay.
boats or the Skyliner, but
Mhm.
we used the minivans the whole trip.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, it just depends what you like. Like there was, I'm so glad we went there, and it was beautiful. And if you're only going to the parks 1 or 2 days and you're staying at the hotel for the rest of your trip, then definitely that might be the hotel that you like. But for
Mhm.
us, we like where you can go back to the hotel for a bit and then go back out. And Animal Kingdom's just like it. We had to get to the lobby, then we had to get to the park and back. It was just a lot. So But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
glad we went. Um, my notes said that the pool area was amazing and the safari room
Mhm.
was just amazing, but the hotel itself was just a little bit too big and too far for us and our family's needs.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, yeah. So we did Epcot and Magic Kingdom over the next couple of days. We did have a dinner package for Fantasmic. So we ended up eating
Mhm.
at 50's Primetime Diner. And we had fun there. The guy that served us was really nice. I explained to him at first. So with Sonny's autism, sometimes he misses the sarcasm boat and he might actually take you
Mhm.
very literal. So I did say when I was checking in, go for town at the kids, but with
Mhm.
him, he might not understand that you're joking. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm glad I said something because I don't think Sonny would have done well with that. However, because I said
Uh-huh.
something, they also didn't do any banter with us. So they didn't banter with
Okay.
our table. So
Okay.
yeah, it's something to note if you're traveling with someone that is on the spectrum
Right.
or might not understand that kind of humor. I did my
Mhm.
research. I knew that Sonny might not understand it all, but then in hindsight, because I said something, we all kind of missed out on that. Does that make sense?
It does, and I get that because they don't wanna run the risk of misunderstanding which person it is.
Like,
And also, you could have something where maybe they were doing some banter with your teenagers and Sonny takes them seriously and takes offense on behalf of his older
exactly.
siblings, you know? So I think it's just probably safer on their part to say, okay, that if there's one person at this table who's not going to potentially be into this, we
Yeah.
just don't do it at all.
And that's exactly right. It's that was that was my fault that I didn't think about that. It wasn't Disney's fault
Hmm.
or the cast members' fault. Like you said,
Hmm.
they did exactly what they were supposed to do. It was just
Yeah.
me in my head thinking, "Oh, if I tell them not to do it to Sunny, that'll be fine. We'll still like I."
Hmm.
That was my fault. In
I
hindsight, I probably would have went somewhere else.
I will say, though, I have eaten at 50's prime time multiple times, and I would say I have a 50% ratio of getting banter and not, and of course, I've
Oh,
never said
okay.
anything like, "Don't give me the banter." So I think it depends on the server, whether they feel like doing it,
There you go.
it's really a mixed bag. So I don't think that you're guaranteed to get people, giving you grief, just because you're eating there. So perhaps it wasn't even that you said anything. It could have also just been that
Yeah.
server doesn't do that anyway. So,
Definitely, it definitely could have been. Yeah, but that was just what I wrote in my notes. But like you said, it could have just been the server. Um,
mhm,
what else? So we did have the ticket for Phantasmic. Unfortunately,
mhm.
Sonny shared his germs, and I got a head cold, and it got to like
Oh,
half an
no.
hour before the show. Yeah, and I was wiped. And I was like, let's go. And my kids were amazing. The older ones were like, no, mum, you wanted this so badly. We'll wait. It's fine. But I was just
Mhm.
exhausted. So as we were exiting, I found a family and I gave them our tickets. I don't know whether you're allowed to do that. I don't know whether they could use them or
I
not,
don't
but
see why not.
yeah,
You paid for them.
I know.
So,
I was like, I don't want anyone to not use them and I can't reuse them. I did ask and they
mhm,
said, no, we can't do that. So yeah, I just hopefully
mhm,
they got to use them. Then the last day we were at Epcot and Izzy, my daughter, did a pearl in the Japan
oh, yes, the
pavilion where
Pick-a-Pearl.
you
Mhm,
can choose a yeah, yeah. She really liked that. That was fun.
mhm,
We had lunch at Garden Grill, and these are the family notes 10 out of 10, no notes. Veggies
mhm.
are amazing. I don't know what's on them, but I only want veggies like that. Character interaction was
Wow.
top notch. Those are
Mhm.
the notes from the family.
Um, I mean, as far as the veggies go, my understanding is that they are all grown in the land pavilion. So perhaps it's just because they were so fresh.
Yeah. And I made the kids go on that first. so that I could like show them.
Uh-huh.
And they were
Mhm.
not as impressed as I was, but whatever. They were fine. And what's that ride? And it's inside the Mexico Pavilion.
Oh, the Grand Fiesta Tour with the 3
Yes.
Caballeros.
Also
Yeah.
love that ride. Don't ever change that. That was adorable. Um,
It is,
yeah,
it's so cute.
it was so cool. But yeah, Garden Grill, and I will agree with the kids. The character interactions at the Garden Grill is probably
Mhm.
the best we've ever had.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
you get to see
yeah.
them a lot there. They make the
Oh,
rounds.
they really do. They really do. And it was, yeah, I think we saw all of them at least 2 or 3 times. It was amazing. And it didn't
Mhm.
feel rushed at all. So that was really
Um,
great.
I don't know whether you canceled this or skipped over it, but I had written in my notes that one of your Magic Kingdom days, you did a dessert party.
That was the night that Sunny got very sick. So
Okay,
we
were you
canceled
able
it.
to cancel that without
Yes.
incurring any kind of fee? Okay,
So yeah, the
okay.
lovely lady that I just rang up guest services or something, and they put me through to someone, and I explained the situation, and she could actually see
Mhm,
on my thing that I'd called the nurse, and
mhm,
she said, "Can you just leave it with me and I'll get back to you?"
mhm,
And she rang my room back at the Grand Floridian. And I
mhm.
think I don't have it on me, but I think I did a cast compliment to her as because
Oh,
she
good.
rang me back. They not
Mhm.
only cancelled it and gave me my money back without incurring a fee, but they also reimbursed me my fast pass for that time Sunny was sick.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Which she didn't
wonderful.
have to do, and I didn't, so I didn't ask her. I said, "Can we cancel it?
Mhm,
If I can get my money back, that's great. If not, whatever, it's fine." And I said, and I just asked because we actually had them for Guardians of the Galaxy. I said, "I've got a single fast pass. Can I move it
mhm,
to a different day so I don't lose it? Like, I just don't
mhm.
want to lose it." And then that's what she wasn't sure on. And she called me back and said, "Look, we can't move it to another day, but I can refund you." So she
Okay.
refunded me the single pass and
Mhm.
the day for 2 days, actually.
Perfect.
She was
Perfect.
amazing.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, poor
That's
mum didn't get to do any of
fantastic.
the shows, but maybe next time.
Oh,
I know. It's
yep.
okay.
It's a
It's all
reason to
right.
go back.
That's right.
Um, I had noted that on your final day of Disney, before you moved on to the next portion of this adventure,
Yeah.
you were talking about either just doing whatever you wanted to kind of catch up on things that you had missed out, or doing a 4-part challenge.
Yeah. Uh, that went out the window pretty quickly. There was no
Okay,
way we
because you had to take a park day off.
Yeah, yeah, we were
Okay.
exhausted and we missed a day. So the
Mhm.
last day we kind of did. We chose Magic Kingdom and Epcot. So we split our time between those.
Mhm.
Um and Scott was going to actually I think we might have done 3. If I remember correctly, we might have gotten 3, but we didn't do Animal Kingdom because that was
Okay.
just a bit too much for me. But I think we
Mhm.
did 3 because I remember, yeah, I think we did Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and then ended in Magic Kingdom. And Scott
Mhm.
wanted to ride Guardians as his last ride. And so I
Uh-huh.
booked that for him. And then we got to the end of the night and I said, "Okay, buddy, are you going to go over there?" And yeah, he was wiped. He was like, "No, I don't think I am. I don't think my legs can
Oh.
walk any longer." So yeah, so we almost did it, but not quite. We just did our favorite things of what we could do.
Okay.
Um, Now, the next day, we were checking out of Animal Kingdom and we used Disney transportation to get to the cruise. Um,
And this is a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise on the Disney Treasure. And cruising's a little different than park time, just
Mhm.
because I think a lot of cruising blends together. So we can just talk about sort of like the different categories within the cruise. So first of
Sure.
all, how did you like your accommodations?
We had a balcony room. It was
Mhm.
beautiful. Loved it. Enough space for all of us. I loved how there was a separate
Mhm.
toilet and sink and a separate shower. So that meant we weren't waiting for another person. Yeah,
Mhm.
I loved our room. Unfortunately, I can't go backwards now. I can only have balconies or bigger. I cannot go back. I'm like I can't go back now.
Yeah, I think that's true of a lot of travel circumstances
Yes.
where you're like, "Well, now I'm
Yeah.
spoiled for life."
Yep. I think so.
Okay, next category. I know that you were thinking that Sunny might take advantage of the kids club and that Izzy and Scott would probably go into the teen club. So, how
Yeah.
were the clubs? Did they utilize them?
So we'll start with Sunny. He did actually go into it quite a few times. I was very surprised.
Mhm.
He must have made a little friend. So he did go in it, but he does small doses. So it might be like an hour.
Okay.
I think the longest he was ever in there was an hour and a half. So not long enough where mum could book anything like a massage or do anything like that.
Mhm.
But there were a couple of times where I was literally just wandering around the ship alone and no idea what to do with myself because I'm not used to that. But he had it, yeah, he absolutely loved the slide, loved the workers. He did really, really well. I was very proud of him. The
Good.
Teenage Kids Club, yeah. So
Mhm.
Izzy made lots of friends in the Edge, I think it is.
Mhm.
She really loved the scavenger hunts and meeting people of different nationalities, and she was always there.
Mhm.
Scott, not so much the kids club, but that basketball in
Uh-huh.
Hero Zone. So I actually the Hero Zone and I are not friends because it literally stole my
Okay.
teenager for the whole 7 days. I like never saw him. And I was like, I got a little bit pouty by the end of it. And I was like, we're here too, not just the basketball court. So I had to remind him to come and have dinner with us at least. That was kind of my rule. I was like, you can go do what you want to do, but we always have
Mhm.
dinner together.
Okay. Good rule.
Yeah. So they loved it.
Okay, now that you've mentioned dinner, let's
Yeah.
talk in general about the food on your Disney cruise. What were the
Yeah.
highlights?
So for us, the highlights is just ordering whatever you want. So it
Mhm.
took Scott 3 days to realize. I said, if you want two mains, you can get two mains because I believe you call them entrees, but we call
Yes.
starters entrees. So he got a bit confused. And every
Mhm.
single night he would say, "Are you sure I can get another one?" And we'd have to say, "Yes, Scott, it's fine." So by like night four, he was having two of each and they knew to bring it out for him. He was having the time of his life. Um, We've
Mhm.
we've been on the Wonder and we've been on this one. I will say that in our experience from this cruise, the portions were small enough that if you wanted to order two, it didn't feel like we were wasting food. They're not overly big
Okay.
portions. So, because that's what I was a bit
Mhm.
worried about. I'm like, I don't want him to order two or three meals and they just go to waste. Like it just goes against my I was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But they were small enough that a 15, 16-year-old boy could eat all three of them. No worries. Um,
Okay.
yeah, the
All right.
food was great. I don't think we had a problem with any of the food. I don't think any of it was overly standout phenomenal, but I can't remember anything
Mhm.
being bad.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the entertainment. So, did you get a chance to see any of the shows on board?
We certainly did. So
Mhm.
I think the two show we saw the first show, which was like a mix of all the characters, and that was a really cute way to start the trip. I love it because it was about
Mhm.
Goofy, and Goofy's my favorite, so I was quite happy with that. Um,
Mhm.
I would have loved to have. I think it's Sage and Coriander, the entertainment people. I've
Okay.
heard fantastic things about them. I've heard they're hilarious and their shows are amazing. Unfortunately, I caught like half of shows, but not full ones. And we kind of watched from over, but didn't participate. But
Mhm.
everyone looked like they were having an amazing time and they were just so good to everyone. But the Moana show, if I'm going to be honest, when I was planning this whole trip, I love The Lion King, and I saw that you could go from
Mhm.
Miami on one of the newer ships, and it has the Lion King themed restaurant instead of Coco, I think. Am I saying, does this
Uh-huh.
sound correct? um,
It
so,
it
yeah.
sounds correct to me, but I've never been on any of these ships yet.
Okay, well, yeah. And so I had to decide whether we would just go to Miami and go on that because
Mhm.
I love that, or whether we stay on this one for the Moana show. And that was our deciding factor. And I'm so glad I made that decision because you need to line up, you need to get in early. And unfortunately, I personally think our seats were a bit too close to the front for my
Okay.
liking. If I could choose again, I probably would have sat back a little bit.
Mhm.
But that the show, I can't even. It's Broadway quality. The puppeteers, the actors, the singers,
Mhm.
everything. It was just amazing. I cried. I think my daughter cried. I think Sunny got a bit
Oh.
teary. And for Sunny to understand, like
Mhm.
that's they've done a great job of storytelling for him to be able to pick up on those undertones and things like that.
Yeah.
Whoever the lady is that plays the grandmother, she is hilarious and she deserves a raise or anything. Whatever she wants, just give it to her because she was so fantastic.
Amazing. All right, let's talk about Pirate Night. How was that? Did you get dressed up?
So Pirate Night was super fun. We did. Sonny got a pirate makeover, and he was made into Jack Sparrow,
Mhm.
and he just had the time of his life being a pirate all night, and it was great. The Yeah, it was just so it's just family good family fun. It was amazing. The fireworks at
Mhm.
night, it's amazing. It's just so cool.
Mhm. Did you do the water slide on board this ship?
We certainly did. It is so much fun. It is. I strategically chose times where there wasn't huge lines though. So,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know about waiting up there for a long time for it, but the times that we
Mhm.
chose, they were short, and it was
Mhm.
just it was probably a bit too cold for me, but it
Mhm.
I couldn't not try it. It's so much fun.
All right, let's talk about your different excursions at the different stops that you made. So I noted that you were planning to do a stingray adventure in Georgetown with snorkeling. How was that?
Yes. Unfortunately, that got cancelled. We were not allowed
Oh
to
no.
tender. Yeah, so we pulled up to Oh, yes, that's correct. Yes, it wasn't safe to tender off the ship, so we
Okay.
had an extra sea day. That was
Okay.
really disappointing, but it's
Mhm.
obviously safety first. There's nothing that they can do about it.
Mhm.
We got our money back. It was credited to our account almost immediately. And what I did is I just quickly hopped on and
Mhm.
I booked the stingrays at Castaway Key,
Oh,
so that
okay.
yeah, so that
Okay.
we could kind of make up for it. We were pretty that unfortunately was one thing that we collectively were all looking forward to. So that was a really big bummer.
Okay. But you got to do it in Castaway Key, and I think you also had booked parasailing and paddle boating in Castaway Key. So let's just talk about Castaway Key overall with these activities, and then just how did you feel about the island?
Yeah. So unfortunately, those activities were also cancelled due to the weather. So we did not
Oh,
go
no.
parasailing. Yeah, pretty much everything got cancelled except for our dolphins at Mexico. So yeah, it was disappointing, but you can't argue with safety or weather. So there's no
Okay, so you rescheduled the Stingray, and then the second Stingray also got canceled.
No. Yes and no. Unfortunately, because of the weather, we were not allowed to feed the stingrays. So they gave us the
Okay.
option of getting a refund, or they would
Mhm.
give us a 50% refund and we could just go and swim with them, but we would not be able to feed them.
Okay. And so
So
you did that instead.
we did. Yeah, we did the later. We swam with them. We all loved it. It
Okay.
was absolutely freezing, It was
Mm.
not swimming weather. It was too cold. But I was like, we're here. We'll just get in. We'll suck it up. Loved
Mhm.
swimming with them. They're really gentle around um, humans. And they took the time to
Mhm.
explain to us why it was safe to do it with them and how Disney looks after them and stuff. So that was really cool. Um,
Mhm.
Sunny and I did do the snorkeling at Castaway Key. Uh,
Mhm.
um, the teenagers did not. It was too cold for them
Okay.
and they were not participating in that. And because of I should have thought about it better being from Australia, but I didn't. We were like swimming against the current to get out to the thing. So it like literally took Sunny and I
Uh-huh.
like an hour to get out to the statues. So yeah, I
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it was coming this way and we were fighting against it, and I'm like, yeah, so it was
Yeah.
a mission to get out there, and we were starting to get a bit tired, so I think we snorkeled, we saw some fish, and we saw, I think, 3 statues underwater, and then I said, "Oh, let's go
Mhm.
back. We're starting to get tired
Okay.
and it's not safe." Yeah, but that was so
Yeah.
much fun. The food on the island, not particularly my favorite. I mean, they feed
Mhm.
you. It's there. There's plenty of it. Um,
Mhm.
we all had a laugh at Sonny's plate. So obviously he's a picky eater at the best of times, but he had a half a bun, a plain bun, a chocolate
Mhm.
brownie, and an apple, and that was him.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was fine. The kids
Mhm.
ate everything, and it wasn't bad. It just wasn't probably not as good as the food on the ship.
Yeah, it's more of a convenience.
Yeah, I'd definitely say the island was clean, the shops were lovely, the staff were friendly. It was really
Mhm.
cool. I probably would have honestly loved, instead of having a day at sea, if we had got like 2 days there, I would have been happy. Like there's plenty to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was really, we enjoyed our day there. It's beautiful. Oh, I just thought of something. Whoever is helping Donald Duck on Castaway Key,
Uh-huh.
and by helping I mean Donald Duck
Friend
himself.
friends with,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, friends with. He is amazing. We got off the ship, and so Sunny likes getting photos with characters teenagers do not.
Mhm.
So we
Okay.
stopped and we got with him. He was moving and grooving. He was like dancing and like he like was joking with Sunny and like he was like shaking his tail feather at Sunny. Like he would like, oh, that honestly was the best character interaction I've ever had. He was amazing. So shout out to Castaway.
I'm gonna say I am a recovered Donald hater. Um, I used to find him to be kind of annoying, not as annoying as I find Stitch, but, then I had met him in Epcot in the Mexico Pavilion and had such a great interaction with him that it totally turned me around, and now I am a really big Donald fan, and I think he's great every place I've seen him since then. He's just so much fun.
So glad.
So yeah, yeah. I can't say that I anticipate that turnaround will happen if I ever do meet Stitch because I don't plan to be in the same room as him ever. Um, but for Donald, I am a Donald fan now.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you had such a good interaction
Oh,
with him there.
he was a highlight actually. He was so good.
Let's talk about Cozumel then. You got to swim with the dolphins. What else did you
Yes.
do there?
So the Cozumel, we booked that excursion through Disney. It was very
Mhm.
well run. We didn't feel confused. We didn't feel rushed. Everything was great. The
Mhm.
taxi. So for those that don't know, it is ran through Disney, but I think Disney just pay the taxi drivers to get you to and from the
Mhm.
place. So my husband is a taxi driver, and Sonny gets bus sick.
Mhm.
So he let myself and Sonny sit in the front, and obviously they were having
Okay.
a nice little. Sonny doesn't often talk to strangers, but he did talk to this gentleman, and he was like, "My dad's a
Mhm.
taxi driver, and he does like." They found common ground. Um,
Yeah.
and we saw a police car, a police like a four wheeler, like a bike. like a
Uh-huh.
yeah. And I just made
Okay.
conversation and I said, "Oh, is that how the police get around on the island instead of cars? Is that easier for them to think?"
Mhm.
And the driver was saying, that yeah, because we don't have a lot of crime on the island. The only crime really is traffic crime. And I said, "Oh, cool." And he goes, "Yeah, or kidnapping, like I am to you now." And the whole car went silent. And my kids in the back like looked at me and I looked at them and he goes, "Just kidding." And we just like, we're Australian. We have a great sense of humor. We were hysterically laughing, but I looked at my two sons and they were not laughing. Like Sonny and Scott were like, "That's not funny."
I was gonna say,
It's
like, if you don't if you were worried about him at
Mhm.
50's prime time, to have somebody say that to you.
Izzy got it, but Sonny did not. Yes, that's right. Sonny was like stone cold looking at him. And then Scott kind of looked at
Mhm.
me through the mirror like, "Was that a joke?" And I was laughing and Izzy was laughing and this other lady in the taxi was laughing, but then the family who were in the back were not laughing as well. They did not find that
Mhm.
funny, but I did. I was like, "Okay, whatever." It was funny, but yeah, that's a very cool memory. Like that'll be our core memory. Like I'm sure, like in 20 years, when we talk about going to Mexico, we'll be like, "Do
Mhm.
you remember that taxi driver?" Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So I was a little bit worried about the dolphins because I read mixed reviews,
Mhm.
and we are animal lovers. So like we and arm whether we should go to zoos or we shouldn't. Like we debate
Mhm.
that eternally. So I booked it, and I knew that they'd changed the laws, so you're not allowed to ride them, you're not allowed to hold on to them, you're not really allowed to touch them anymore. So Mexico
Mhm.
has that rule now. So I was like, "Oh, that's actually cool because that would make me feel better about the interaction." Um,
Mhm.
the From what I saw, the pools were small, but they were very well maintained and looked after. And the people that were
Mhm.
working there really like talk to you about where that dolphin came from, what they do, how they've helped them.
Mhm.
So I would say that the pools are on the smallish side, but I would say that their care was very good, if that
Mhm.
means anything to
Okay.
anybody. And our interaction with the dolphin was great. It was definitely one of the highlights.
I did have in my notes, that you were planning to get a massage, but you said earlier you weren't able to based on the amount of time that Sunny was spending in the kids club. So, I think is it am I correct in understanding that for a massage, you book that, like, once you get on board? It's not something that you could book in advance?
No, so I did book them in advance, and I booked one
Oh.
service at the start of the trip because I
Mhm.
knew I would be tired from the
Okay.
park, and I booked one
Mhm.
on the day before we go home because I knew we had a huge flight.
Mhm.
I used the first one, so I
Okay.
did go and get a massage, and Izzy had Sunny. They were having a nap, but I ended up cancelling the second one because yeah, Sunny didn't end up
Mhm.
going to the club long, and the massage
Okay.
was great, but for the price, I ended up canceling the second one because I didn't think it was worth the price.
Okay. Yeah, I think massages are typically pretty expensive anyway, but then I think I have heard that they're especially expensive on the ship.
Yeah, I will say I did put in my when you fill out the form for your massage, I found a tip online because
Mhm.
sometimes their upselling can be quite aggressive in the salon. So on my notes, I
Okay.
wrote, "Please no upselling. I will leave a tip," and it worked. She didn't upsell me at all.
Mhm. I had not heard that about that experience there. Okay, very good to know. Very good to know. For I think that's all the sort of buckets and categories that I wanted to ask about. So is there anything else that I didn't ask you about this cruise experience that you wanted to make sure you got in?
Yes. So, Jamaica, we didn't have an excursion booked, but we did end up
Mhm.
going through the port area, and we
Mhm.
went to the taxi station. And so I have traveled and done cruises before to like Fiji and Vanuatu and things like that. So I'm not unfamiliar with how to do this. If it was my first time,
Mhm.
I might find it overwhelming, but it's not. So I just went to the taxi stand and the tour stand. And me personally,
Mhm.
traveling alone with kids, I don't like to go on ones by myself. So there were other families there
Mhm.
who also wanted to go and do something. So we ended up all pooling in for a taxi slash tour. So at least I know you're
Okay.
with other people. It's not as bad.
Mhm.
So we shared it with others, and we went to the Blue Water Beach Club. So I didn't feel unsafe, but I would not do it alone.
Mhm.
And I understand their system, so it was a set price per person, and he agreed to come back at a certain time to pick us up. So my understanding was, okay, well, I'll give you half now, and I'll give you the other half when you pick us up, because you could just essentially
Uh-huh.
take all my money and not come back. But he was very, very
Right.
adamant that he was to get full payment when we were dropped off at the beach club. So myself and a couple of other families were a bit like, okay, that doesn't sound right. But
Yeah.
we did it anyway, and he did come back. We did get picked up, and we're safe. We're all okay. But that's just something to keep in mind if you were not going to do a Disney excursion. Maybe have that conversation before
Mhm.
you leave the port so that you better understand what the plan is. Um, I think we
Right.
paid $10 to get into the Blue Water Beach Club. So it's essentially
Mhm.
just paying $10 to go to the beach, because that's what it
Mhm.
was. So when we got in, we got given a gentleman who I assumed would be like our server and bring us drinks and stuff. And he took us
Uh-huh.
down and he goes, "Where do you want your beach chairs?" And I said, "Oh, those ones will be great, thank you." And he had a dirty towel
Uh-huh.
and he wiped them. And then he stood there and stared at me. And I said, "Oh, thank you so much." And then he goes, "The chairs are free, but you need to tip me." And I said, "Oh, yeah, of course." And I thought he was going to take like a drink order. And I said, "Oh, we'll just probably just get some waters." And he said, "Oh, if you, that lady over there, she'll be your server." And I said, "Okay, thank you." And then he stood there and he was a little bit aggressive and he said, "You need to tip me for the chair." And like he made me a little bit uncomfortable. So essentially, I tipped
Uh-huh.
him to walk me to a chair and wipe it with a dirty towel. And then I watched him
Wow.
proceed to walk
Ew.
back up, yeah, and do it to the. So just keep that in mind if you ever do go there. That
Mhm.
it didn't ruin the day for me, but it wasn't a pleasant 10 minutes of my life.
It doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth.
No. So I would not go back there. But it wasn't
Mhm.
like it didn't ruin it for me. I did like the beach club. I had some strong margaritas. I like the beach was wonderful. I had lots of fun with
Mhm.
Sunny and they played music. They had a DJ. It was fun. But yeah, that's just something to think
Mhm.
of. And we loved the port at Jamaica, the people dancing and the music. That was really fun. But we did note like it was just the same shop over and over and over again. Like
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just the same. It's like the same gift shop repeated.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay. So nothing's really truly special.
no, no, not particularly. Um, and the only other notes that I had was we got pixie dusted a lot. We were in a group of pixie dusted. What is it called? Um, where you give out.
Oh, the fish extender group?
Yep. So on our last cruise on the Wonder, we did this. I
Mhm.
gave out these amazing packs, and I really tried really hard, and I, had a whole suitcase full. And my kids, I think they got like a balloon and a straw, and they were like, "Mum, don't do that again. Like you put so much effort in." And I said, "No, I think that was because it was like the Wonder was in Australia, and then maybe Australians weren't familiar with it." So I said, let's just
Mhm.
try it again. And I can happily say this time made up for it. The kids got really good stuff. We gave really
Mm.
good stuff. We were pixie dusted randomly and
Mhm.
we did that. We put stickers in. We loved walking around looking at everyone's doors. I think that's my favorite thing to do. The magnets
Mhm.
and the elaborate things. I really loved that. Um, so the only other thing that I feel it might be important to say, and this is my own experience, we took the Disney transportation to
Mhm.
the port, but we did not take it back to the airport. Our experience wasn't great. So when we got on the bus, I explained Sonny's autistic and he gets travel sick. we've given him the band, but we might be last on the bus, so he's not annoying anyone while we're waiting. They
Mhm.
overbooked the bus. So there were two buses and there were too many people. So our family had to seat on it's like a disabled seats at the back. But I mean, it's
Okay.
hard to, you had about 10 centimeters for your legs. So I had to sit the whole way from Animal Kingdom to the port with my legs literally up
Mm.
at my face. Um,
Oh, wait, this was the Disney portion of your transportation to the port that
yeah,
you had this experience?
yeah, it wasn't great.
Oh, I thought you were talking about at the end.
No.
Okay.
And when I said something, I said, "Oh, I said, can we sit up the front because Sonny gets sick?" And there were two available seats at the front.
Mhm.
And they said, "We can't let kids sit at the front for safety reasons." So
Mm,
we were put
okay.
on these seats and it was squishy and uncomfortable and it was not a pleasant experience at all.
Mhm.
And then when I brought it to their attention, I was basically told, well, it's either that or you make your own way there because both buses are full. Um, And
Okay.
unfortunately, little Sonny got terribly, terribly, terribly bus sick. And as we're waiting to go
Mm.
through the security to get on the ship, he was vomiting. And then I had about, 500 people looking at me like, you're taking a kid on the boat that's sick. And I'm like saying, no, 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 I promise you, I'd never do that. He's not sick. He
No,
just
he's
went on a
perfect.
bus.
Yeah.
I know, and I had to keep
Yeah.
explaining to people, like, I promise you, if he was sick, I would not be here. He's just getting bus sick. And yeah, this lovely lady at the where you check your passport and stuff, she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Look, I'm being honest with you. He he is getting bus sick. I look at me. I'm white as a ghost. I get travel sick too. Like this is what this is." And she was like, oh, "Okay, you poor
Mhm.
thing." And she let Izzy go ahead with him and take him upstairs
Mhm.
and go to the bathroom. And by the time we got onto the ship, he was right. And I felt like saying to everyone, "See, see, see."
Mhm.
Like he's not.
Mhm.
But I do understand to them, they were probably like, "What
Right.
is this woman doing? She's taking this sick child on a cruise ship." But yeah, I assure you, it was just travel
Mhm.
sick. Anyway, we got on. They also one droid made it on the ship, one droid didn't,
Oh,
and
no. What happened
yeah.
to it?
So apparently, it got. You know how they confiscate things sometimes if they're not allowed on the ship. So
Yeah?
they did that. And then I like politely said, "But you've let the same, like they're identical droids. You've let one on and not the other." And they were like, "Oh,
Yeah?
it's going to be there when you get back. Don't worry. Here's your receipt." And I was like, "Cool, no
But make
worries."
it make sense.
I know. And they also not lost, they couldn't find two of our bags. So two of our bags were not on our room for the first day. So I just went to the receptionist and I said, "Look, you've lost this bag." I put in a
Mhm.
lost report and I also said that the droid was missing and they found that the droid was confiscated. And then they did find my bag and it was taken to my room. And I've got a note here
Mhm.
that on the third day or the end of the second day, when we got our bag back, and I also let them
Mhm.
know about our experience with the transportation and the bus, how it was
Mhm.
overpacked and it wasn't great. Disney left a gift basket in our room. So we got a teddy and
Oh,
some
okay.
popcorn and a chocolate and a things like that to say they
Mhm.
apologize, and thank you. And I think,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So just I thought that was important to note that, yeah,
Mhm.
unfortunately, it was convenient, but it wasn't the best experience.
Mhm. Okay. Did you feel better after you had a gift basket?
Um, so I felt better
Like,
after
did it
the gift
work?
basket, but I won't use it next time.
Mhm.
I will just get myself there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. At least now you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Anything else about this cruise that you wanted to squeeze in?
No, we just loved it. One of the nights, the Cozumel night, it was
Mhm.
really rocky and I got dreadfully seasick. But so
Oh,
out of seven
no.
nights, it was one.
Okay. Did you have anything like Dramamine or anything like that that you took
Yeah,
to get through that?
yeah. But
Okay.
it was like people were moving and grooving. It was It was pretty full on. Yeah,
Mm.
but that's one of the things that can happen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And especially like if you've never cruised before, you don't know how you're going to respond to being on the ship. So I
Yeah,
think it's a safe bet to just have some of those medications with you, have some of the C bands for your wrist, have a couple different things just in case.
exactly.
Um, Okay, that brings us to your departure day, which was Saturday, January 17th. And I know that you were flying to LA with a 2 hour layover and then from LA to Sydney. But before we get to that, I wrote a note that you had promised your kids McDonald's.
Yes,
Did you
and I
do that?
fulfilled that. Yes. So my notes are getting off the boat was extremely efficient. We walked off the boat and our bags were
Hmm.
already there. I have never gotten off a cruise ship that well. They did that
Wow.
perfectly.
Okay.
Getting the
Hmm.
car hire was not
Hmm.
like that. So apparently there were 6 ships docked there, and Orlando apparently is not built to handle that many. They just, yeah. So
Okay.
the line was terrible to get the bus shuttle to get the car. So they suggested, "Oh, we suggest to you that you get an Uber because this is going to take a long time." So silly Donna leaves the line.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm going to skip this and go get an Uber, but I forget you have to like get an Uber first, right? They don't have to pick up your trip.
Right.
Yeah, so silly me left the line before securing an
Oh,
Uber.
no.
Yeah, so rookie mistake. So I did that, and then we had to wait a long time for an Uber, and then we finally got to the car place, and we honestly it took about
Hmm.
2 hours, 2.5 hours to get the car. I
Wow.
definitely, I probably wouldn't be going. I know the one we chose was a cheaper car, but we also chose it
Hmm.
because it was one of the only ones that would let me drop off at the airport.
Uh-huh.
So I was limited to who I could choose it with. But I had a lovely chat with the people in front of me. My kids were definitely over it. I think my son Sonny
Hmm.
had three cans of Mountain Dew because I just said, yeah,
Oh
whatever.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah, because I was like, I'm over it. But we got the car. We did. We went to the Big McDonald's. Sonny had a good play on the playground. He made another friend, which was amazing. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so, and then the dropping off of the car at Orlando was smooth, fantastic. You just pull
Hmm.
up, get out. So that was great. Um, I've written Delta was fantastic. We flew with Delta there and
Hmm.
back, and I'm flying with Delta again shortly. That's how much I liked them. Um, so I don't know if you're familiar with Jetstar. So Jetstar is like an Australian one. We go to Hawaii
No, I'm
or
not.
locally.
Okay.
So Delta was amazing.
Mhm.
Couple of bags were overweight. Then they must have just seen on my face, and he was like, "I got you. Don't worry about this," and just took my bags. And I was like, "Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Oh.
much." Sonny wears his sunflower lanyard so that we go through.
Mhm.
They can see that he's autistic. We do still have to wait in lines. It's
Mhm.
not a fast pass. There's still a line. There's still a process. It's still a lot. There was a couple of times at the airport, Sonny would just go under my shirt and put his headphones on.
Mhm.
And I'm sure I look strange to everyone passing me, but that's how we get through it.
Mhm.
And there was a couple of times where, a passing person might make a comment, and I'll just say, just because he has autism doesn't mean he doesn't get to have a holiday. He gets to travel too. We just do things a little
Right.
differently. It's no big deal.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, Delta was great.
Mhm.
Jetstar was not very nice, and I probably won't be using them in Australia again. They, yeah,
Mhm.
they were just not the greatest. Very long
Mhm.
travel days, and my last note that I have on my phone: traveling home is not as much fun as traveling there. So
No, it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, no,
You wouldn't be traveling home if you had not gotten the opportunity to go somewhere. So,
yeah,
what a trip.
hmm
Amazing.
yeah. We're very
Amazing.
lucky.
So, this was your first time in Disney World. You've been to Disneyland before. You've been to Aulani. Do you have any plans, whether loose or more concrete, of the next time you'll be going on a magical adventure like this?
Our next magical Disney adventure probably won't be for a little while. So I have two kids in grade 11 and 12. So they're in their senior years. So they can't
Mm-hmm.
miss any school.
Mm-hmm.
So I know definitely I will go back to Disney World. I'm a huge Encanto fan. So when all
Mm-hmm.
that's done, we're a huge Cars fan. So I think when all that's done in
Yeah.
a few years, I'd probably take Sunny back. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think the teenagers will come with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but and Wow, yeah, yeah. I have this loose bucket list that I'd love to go to all the Disneys. I really would.
Uh-huh.
But I just got to get the kids through their senior years, and then
Right. Yeah.
Sunny and I can go on as many adventures as we like.
Amazing. Well, Donna, this has been so much fun chatting with you, both this time and our pre-trip interview. It's been wonderful and therapeutic to connect with you on everything that we've both been through recently. So I really appreciate, your giving me the time to sit down and talk with me, and also just really opening your heart um, and sharing your experience with me and
Of
with all the
course.
listeners. So thank you so
It has
much.
been great. Thank you so much for giving me the space to do this. It's been wonderful.
And hopefully I'll talk to you again in a couple years when you go back. Let me know.
Yeah, so I've got my list. I also want to do the Alaska cruise.
Oh yeah, I hear such good things about that.
I know. I'm thinking I might sneak something in before. I
Mhm.
don't know if I can wait that long. We'll see.
Yes, once you've gotten bit by the Disney bug, it's hard to give it up. And I think that there are, besides Disney World, I think there's closer Disney properties to you. I am no geography buff, but I feel like there's closer
Yes.
places for you to go to get a little hit of Disney. So maybe
So
you'll make
yeah,
it there.
there. Tokyo and Shanghai are probably the closest.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Mhm.
Scott's girlfriend and her family are over in Tokyo now. So I think they're testing the waters for me.
Mhm. Good. Yeah, and you know what I hear about Tokyo? I mean, at least from the perspective of people I know who have been from the US to the Tokyo parks, they all say that it's relatively affordable. That the most expensive part for us is actually the flight to get over there.
Yes.
But maybe the flight isn't quite so expensive from where you are to Tokyo. And then once you get there, I think it's a pretty affordable park ticket.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think now I've done the two originals, it's time to branch
Hmm.
off a bit, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Donna. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and rest of your week.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you again to Donna for joining me on the show and for being a loyal listener. I had such a wonderful time chatting with you, and I am sending all my love to you and your family. That is all for today. I know this was a long episode, but thank you to everyone who made it this far, for listening, for supporting, and please remember to keep daydreaming about where you long to be.